Welcome to the studio. We're going to talk about sustainability now, especially in regards to tilapia farming in basements and in Sweden mainly, or in temperate regions such as Sweden, Norway, Canada. The topics we'll cover is first and foremost the sustainability definition, and then we go through energy consumption, carbon dioxide footprint. We'll compare tilapia to some of its competitors like cod, also lentils perhaps, and salmon. Running cost has a bit to do with the energy part, and then we'll just briefly mention some social aspects. Sustainability, it's a commonly used term, and perhaps we need to define it. And to do so, we have a very special guest with us today, from all the way from Norway, actually. So welcome Gro Harlem Brundtland from Norway. Gro Harlem used to be the Prime Minister of Norway, and she also made important contribution in the United Nations, where she, during the latter part of the 80s, helped define sustainability by involving both social, environmental, and financial aspects. So for now, we put her perhaps here on the Wall of Fame. Welcome, Gro Harlem. And what we'll do now is to do some calculations on the sustainability of this farm in this room. So let's go. So let's do the calculations then. So important both for economics and for the environment is the energy consumption, right? So what we have here, it's mainly heating the water. It's maximum 900 watts, and then some of the heat comes from the house itself, because the garage is sort of built into the house. And apart from that, another cost is lighting the plants and all that. So that's sort of 400 watts.
12 hours a day. So heating is on whenever needed. So it's not always 900 watts going out, but yeah. Other stuff involves air pump. It's not much, but it's like 50 watts, and some canister filters of the same magnitude, and then we have two, so like 100 watts. And
if you consider that heating is on when it's needed, lighting is on half the day, so what you end up with is like 30 kilowatts per hour daily. Okay, so that's the energy part, and that's likely the biggest cost. And then we have food, say $2 a day. Water, it's we use water from the roof that we harvest, and then you get to pay like maybe $4 cubic meter from the municipality, and what we refill from evaporation and some water changes is like 200 liters a week. So the cost for the water is sort of negligible, and and then it costs money also to invest in all these investments, like building the stuff and getting all the pumps and tanks and stuff. So it's about $4,000, and if perhaps the payback time is 10 years, then it's 400 a year. So China is the biggest tilapia producer worldwide today, and also areas and countries nearby like the Philippines and Thailand, Vietnam, Taiwan is also important contributors here, and Egypt is a big producer, and also Brazil. So it's mainly countries within this sort of band, quite close to the equator, where the temperature is suitable. So we're sited a bit farther north, near Gothenburg. Costs will sum up to almost $4,000 yearly. So power is sort of $3,000, and then we have food and investments costs of say $800 a year, and some maybe 100 for water. So that's sort of 4,000, right? So let's dig into the income side of it. Yeah, so I'm here with our guest again, and one thing that we actually forgot to mention in all these calculations is that working hours are unpaid. It's like, perhaps for the fish, it's gonna be in the ballpark of 2 or 3 hours a week, but it's time well spent, and I'm not gonna charge that time, and actually I think it's provide value other than money, so calculations are correct. Incomes. So first, fish poop. So fish poop as fertilizer. I would guesstimate that that's sort of in the neighborhood of $200 to $500 worth of. Second, all the peppers and chilies we'll need. And yearly, what could that be, like $200 maybe? Also we get herbs like basil and sage, and perhaps mainly basil, could be like $200 also. And then fish meat. So if it's 100 kilos of fish, maybe we'll get out half of that, so like 50 kilos. And if we use a lobster sales price, it's sort of $50 a kilo. It's 2.5 grand, right? So maybe some of you think that this lobster price is unfair. So let's cut that in half, and then we get $12.50 as the income for that. It's so it's 500, 900, and 1250, so that's sort of 2150 dollars total, and the costs are more. So costs are 4,000. Is it? Yeah, sort of roughly. So there's like 18, $15 loss. Well, nah, because we forgot about a couple of things. First off, we didn't remember all these incomes, did we? So it's sort of like 1,000 more. So say it's yeah, it's $1,000 loss, and we forgot the most important factor. Actually, it's hard to account for, but soft parameters. Like, it's fun, it's good for you, it's meaningful, and yeah, you don't have to go to the shrink that often, or yeah, spending time with animals or with plants, or there's little doubt it's healthy to do that. So yeah, sort of the benefit from this is it's at least 2.5 grand, I would say, yearly. So if we lost 1,000 without the soft factors, and we'll put on the 2.5 grand, so this is minus. So actually what we gain from it all, it's net profit of $1,500. That's great, isn't it? So yeah, here's the full data set, and yeah, as you see, fish-wise, cod is coming in last in this comparison because it's caught far from land, and herring is second together with salmon, and then we have tilapia on the first place, sort of being the winner in this comparison. But it's probably getting beaten by lentils and soybeans. Soybeans are being transported though. The best thing I could do to cut down on the energy bill and its impact on the environment is to cover tanks up to prevent heat loss from evaporation. Also try and use the car less, maybe, or to yeah, construct a wetland out here, or keep old trees and plant new ones. Insulation perhaps, either in the garage or the fish tanks themselves. What we'll do now, it's sort of sustainable. We're going to use household scrap or food leftovers as feed, but to do so we need to prepare it a bit. Yeah, as many of you imagine, fish meal products and commercially available feeds still has at least some issues with transport and overfishing to get the fish meal to produce the pellets. So we're here in the lab, yeah, and we're going to prepare some sustainable fish food from some leftovers. So here are the basic component of this feed that we'll make. So one reason for doing this today is that we have some shrimp peels leftovers, so it's the heads and stuff, and yeah, as sort of the vegetable component we have green peas, and we have some kales and kale stems, and then as sort of a filler, and because the fish need some stuff from cereals, we have oatmeal. And to make the whole thing float, we need some oil, and then to make the stuff holding itself together, we need this gelatin, sort of these sheets that you dissolve in water and then mix with other stuff. Yeah, and spices for today, it's ancho chili and some garlic, and that's about it. Of course, we need some water to mix with the gelatin. And then we have this blender here that we're going to use, and then we put minced products into bags and freeze it. So let's do these first. Like that. Kale, perhaps we need to cut it into pieces. Put it in here for now. So I think there's room for a little bit more. Like that. Some garlic. But first a little bit machine work. Some of the chili. And a bit more of this. And some oil. So this gel-like fluid, it's the last thing that we'll pour into this, and then we'll bag it. So we're done. Bag time. Okay. And then just make it as flat as possible to allow to break off pieces later. Okay, so see you in a couple of hours, and then we'll test the stuff on the fish. Here's the feed, and let's take a piece and go to the fish. So let's see if they'll eat it. And last but not least, the bigger ones. So here's the smaller tank with the juveniles in it, so let's see if they want to have some. Actually, the tilapia in some instances has been sort of considered a plague. So in parts of America, especially perhaps in the US, it has been banned from different states, like I think Florida, because it's too invasive. Since Sweden is a rather cold country with an annual mean temperature of like 8 degrees C, this invasion of tilapia that we've seen in other parts of the world, it's not really an issue here. The social aspects that we mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be a quick section in this film because yeah, I'm doing this voluntarily, and yeah, I think it's good for me, so this is sort of a fair trade business.